you gonna do now, punk ass? I bet I'm getting in the way.
It started with a scream. Not a dramatic monologue, not a slow zoom, just a full-grown man screaming in the middle of a Miami parking lot because his car was being towed by a woman named Bernice, who looked like she'd body slammed 3 people before breakfast.
I could give a about the police. Man, if Jerome went down.
Welcome to South Beach Tow, a show so chaotic it made cops look like a meditation retreat. This wasn't reality TV, this was Florida Man, the series. And for a glorious few years, it ruled the trash TV kingdom. Every episode was a fever dream. Customers jumping on hoods, hiding in trunks, pulling weapons over expired tags, and in the middle of it all, the Tremont towing crew, dragging cars and dignity through the streets of South Beach like it was just another Tuesday. And yeah, it was fake, painfully fake, but that's what made it perfect. Because South Beach Tow didn't pretend. It wasn't here to inspire you. It wasn't real, but it was realer than anything else on TV, at least emotionally. And emotionally, it felt like a 24/7 panic attack wrapped in a tank top and flip-flops. It gave us Bernice, the most feared woman in Miami. It gave us Jerome with the energy of a man who's seen some things. It gave us Robbie, just Robbie. But then the magic started to crack, and by the time we noticed, it was already too late.
I tried to give you an opportunity and you've screwed it up. Get the hell out of here.
To understand South Beach Tow, you first have to understand Miami. Not the postcard version, the real Miami. The one where someone might key your car for taking their parking spot and then wave at you like nothing happened. And at the center of it all was Tremont Towing, a real family-run tow yard that somehow became the set of the wildest fever dream ever filmed. When South Beach Tow premiered in 2011, it claimed to be a gritty, behind-the-scenes look at the daily grind of towing illegally parked cars in South Beach. But it took about 30 seconds for viewers to realize this wasn't a documentary. This was pro wrestling with clipboards. At the heart of the operation was the Ashenoff family. Robert Sr., the gruff patriarch with the charisma of a brick wall and the attitude of a parole officer. Christy, his sharp-tongued daughter, who ran dispatch like a mafia boss disguised as a receptionist. And Robbie Jr., who looked like he was halfway between a tanning appointment and a midlife crisis. Right out of the gate, the family dynamic gave the show its soap opera DNA. Christy and Robbie bickered like siblings on a sugar high, and Robert Sr. mostly stood around yelling at both of them to get it together, which, spoiler, they never did. Then there were the tows themselves. Every retrieval turned into a drama class final project.
I need to get the out of here.
It's $250.
One guy freestyled a rap to get his car back. Another faked a seizure. A woman pretended to be pregnant, not in general, but in the middle of the confrontation, just to stop a tow. And in the middle of all this madness, we met Bernice. Introduced in season 1, Bernice, played by real-life educator and stuntwoman LaCatriona Brunson, instantly became the show's not-so-secret weapon. She didn't just tow cars. She dominated scenes like she was auditioning for Fast and Furious 19, Repo Reckoning. She slammed customers into chain-link fences, dragged grown men off hoods, and handled every outburst with the same facial expression. Utter boredom mixed with barely concealed rage.
I'm in a terrible rush. So
Obviously,
listen to me.
okay.
I told you to keep your.
It didn't take long before Bernice Don't Play became the unofficial motto of the entire show. Season 1 mostly centered around outrageous tows and simmering family tension, with one explosive exception. In the now infamous episode Memorial Day Mayhem, what starts as a routine holiday tow devolves into a full-on brawl in the tow yard. People screaming, fists flying, guns drawn. Christy would later call it a Memorial Day war with a whole lot of guns. You know, just your average Tuesday at work. And just when it couldn't get messier, we learned that Tremont Towing had enemies. Yes, even in the world of parking enforcement, rivalries exist. A shadowy competitor began circling like a shark, the finest towing, led by the smirking, scheming Larry Diaz. Tow trucks had officially entered gangland territory.
What's on now? What's on now?
By the end of season 1, the writing was on the wall, and probably also on a few broken windshields. Tremont wasn't just dealing with angry customers. They were at war with each other, with their rivals, with logic. But the best part? This barely scratches the surface of how much more ridiculous it was going to get. At first, you barely notice. Same tow trucks, same screaming customers, same Miami heat rising off the pavement like guilt. But something was off. The chaos started feeling rehearsed. The meltdowns were perfectly timed. The fights, more choreography than confrontation. It wasn't spontaneous anymore. It was blocking and marks in take 2. And then came the episode. Bernice gets kidnapped. Yes, kidnapped. Black van, masked men, full abduction. She breaks out minutes later, casually walks back to work like she just ran to CVS. Not a scratch on her. Epic? Yes. Believable? Not even close. That was the moment the mask slipped. Before, the show flirted with realism. Now, it had fully eloped with absurdity. Then came the reveal behind the curtain. Jennifer Lopez was producing it. Yes, that J.Lo, her business partner, once got towed by Tremont and thought, you know what this needs? A TV deal. And just like that, Jenny from the block became Jenny from the lot. The writing followed suit, predictable beats, repeat catchphrases. Every episode, someone parks illegally. They freak out like they just lost a limb. Bernice shuts it down with a one-liner and walks off like an action hero in orthopedic sneakers.
Touch me. Do you
You
understand
already
me?
touched
I will
me,
hit
ma'am.
some for a bitch like you any day.
Even the customers felt like extras. Even the rage felt rehearsed. And even Bernice, unstoppable, unshakable Bernice, started phoning it in. Online, fans took notice. Comments turned skeptical. Memes turned sour. Reddit threads shifted from, did you see this, to wait, is this even trying anymore? And the real tragedy, it wasn't that it was fake, it was that it had stopped being fun. Because once you can predict the punchline, the chaos isn't chaos anymore. By the time Bernice launched herself off a parking garage and crashed through a car window like a Marvel stunt double, the plot hadn't just gone off the rails. It hijacked a train, drove it through a fireworks factory, and waved at the camera while doing it.
Soldier bling. Oh, Bernice. Christy!
Let's rewind to season 3. The show was peaking in chaos, in absurdity, and in meme potential. In the now legendary episode Bernice Goes Down, our queen of the tow yard gets knocked off a multi-level garage by a fleeing customer. She falls a full story down, a fall that would break most human beings. But this is Bernice we're talking about. She stands up, walks it off, and in her next move, punches through the car window from below and drags the driver out like she's the repo version of the Terminator. The internet would later crown this scene the greatest 2 minutes in television history. And you know what? Fair. But while Bernice was defying gravity, the rest of Tremont Towing was imploding from the inside. That season, Robbie Jr., forever tired of playing second fiddle to Christy, decides he's had enough. Together with longtime employee Gilbert Perez, he secretly forms a rogue towing company.
What's going on here?
What is that? What are you doing with all that cash?
It's my rent money, bro. I gotta go pay the landlord. What's going on here? What's happening?
Christy, she found out about everything.
R&P Towing. Yes, behind his family's back, Robbie starts poaching jobs, using Tremont's trucks, and basically committing corporate betrayal with a side of entitlement. When Christy discovers the scheme in an episode called hilariously 50 Shades of Bernice, things go nuclear. Perez locks the Tremont team out of their own lot, hijacks the dispatch system, and declares himself in charge. It's not just a mutiny, it's a hostile takeover. For a moment, it looks like the family business is truly finished, but Christy plays the long game. In the season finale, Deuces Tremont, she cuts a devil's deal. Tremont and R&P merge into one company. The enemy is now a partner, and just like that, Tremont Towing is gone. Then comes season 4, and the show, having already defied realism, decides to defy logic. In the opening episode, Apocalypse Tow, the old Tremont office literally explodes. A freak gas leak, a careless cigarette, and boom.
Christy, I don't do well with change.
The set is gone. They don't just push the limits here, that they blow them to pieces and build a taco stand on the rubble. The crew relocates to the former headquarters of Goodfellas Towing, previously run by their old enemy Larry Diaz, and rebrands under a new name, South Beach Towing. Yes, it took until season 4 for the company name to match the show title. Poetic? No. Hilarious? Absolutely. Meanwhile, the chaos continues. Perez is now officially part of the company. Robbie still wants control. Christy holds it together with duct tape and death stares. And Bernice? She starts a taco truck with her mom.
Oh, Bernice, your taco is delicious.
Riva, because towing cars and body slamming men apparently wasn't enough of a workload. But just when you think things might settle down, the show throws in one last betrayal. The city threatens the new South Beach towing yard with a zoning change. Robbie, desperate to save the business, or at least his pride, makes a backdoor deal. He signs over 51% ownership to Perez. Just like that, the man who hijacked Tremont now legally owns it. And Christy, she finds out after it's done. The series finale, fittingly titled Checkmate, ends with Christy's stunned face as she realizes she's just been outmaneuvered by her own brother and the guy who tried to destroy her. Fade to black. No resolution, no justice, just betrayal, backstabbing, and a final reminder that in this world, even family will repo your legacy if it means they get to drive the truck. South Beach Tow didn't die because it was too crazy. It died because it got too clean. By the end, everything that once made the show fun, the barely controlled chaos, the improvised feeling fights, the sense that anything could happen, had been scrubbed away. What was left? A polished parody of its former self, pretending it still had edge. Remember when you couldn't tell if people were real or actors? Well, True TV eventually confirmed what everyone suspected. The show was full of dramatized reenactments, which is network code for, we hired stunt people to fake fights because the real ones weren't crazy enough. The tow yard was now a soundstage. The customers were clearly actors, and every punch, scream, or meltdown felt like it had been through 3 rehearsals and a focus group. Even Bernice started to fade. Sure, she still bodied people into dumpsters, but by season 4, her scenes had become cartoonish. She was fighting swamp creatures, running a food truck, and delivering monologues like a Shakespearean repo woman.
We can call it Bernice and Reva's Hood Tacos.
I'll go sign on it.
It was fun, but it wasn't real anymore, and it knew it. And somehow that made it less exciting, because in a post-TikTok, post-Florida man world, South Beach Tow couldn't keep up. You didn't need a production crew to see people lose their minds in parking lots. Now you could just open Instagram. The show that once felt outrageous was now quaint. A relic of a time when trash TV still had mystery. Now it's all manufactured chaos, influencer drama, and staged car accidents for clout. Yet despite everything, South Beach Tow refuses to disappear. Clips still go viral, memes still circulate. And when someone rediscovers that Bernice parking garage scene, it explodes all over again like it's 2013. Why? Because no matter how fake it got, the show had heart. A weird, chaotic, taco truck driving, forklift smashing heart. It wasn't just bad TV, it was great bad TV. The kind that sticks with you, makes you laugh, and reminds you that sometimes the dumbest things are also the most entertaining.
Base to Bernice.
Bernice, where are you?
And honestly, we miss it. Could South Beach Tow make a comeback? Sure, but only if it stopped pretending to be reality and embraced what it always was. Pure, theatrical, low-budget opera, performed in a tank top. You can't recapture chaos by polishing it. You have to let it be messy. Let Bernice fly kick her way through a Chick-fil-A drive-thru. Let Robbie yell into the void about zoning laws. Let the Florida energy flow, unfiltered and unhinged. But let's be real, it probably won't happen because the internet already replaced it. The meme machine moves too fast. And the truth is, South Beach Tow didn't die because it was bad. It died because it tried to be better, cleaner, smarter, more believable. And in doing so, it lost what made it unforgettable. So if you ever find yourself parked illegally in Miami, listen closely. You might just hear the distant echo of Bernice yelling, "I told you not to park here." And when you do, smile. Because for a brief, beautiful moment, we all believed the lie, and we loved every second of it.
$80,000. At this rate, it's gonna take you like 25 years to pay me back.
33 years.
Oh, and if you made it this far without getting towed, you deserve a reward. So smash that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into beautiful disasters, and remember, reality is fake, parking enforcement is real, and Bernice is eternal.